Dear John, I've seen adverts for stick-on patches that are supposed to increase your mobile phone signal. I'd like to know if they really work and if there's any other way that you can jack up the reception of your phone without spending a fortune on newfangled technology. Love the show, keep up the good work. Craig from Sunderland. I like the way you're thinking, Craig. Bit of tin foil might be handy. There we go. Cake tin. We've also got some coat hangers here. They seem like a good idea. If you're really desperate, you can always use some of this. Some standard TV aerial. Now, first things first. If we're going to be mucking around with our mobile phone's aerial, we need to know what wavelength we're talking about. Luckily, we have a nice, easy scientific formula to use. Lambda, the wavelength of the signal, equals the speed of light divided by the frequency of the signal. Now, we know that the speed of light is always a constant. It's 300 million meters per second. Now, the frequency of the signal depends on the mobile phone network that you're talking about. We're going to use 1800 megahertz. And we come up with a wavelength of 0.167 meters, or 16.7 centimeters. Most mobile phone aerials are a quarter of the wavelength, so that gives us approximately 4.175 centimeters for the length of our additional aerial. First of all, we're going to use some of the materials here to make a ground plane aerial, like you get in most cars. Now, accuracy is very important, so I'm going to measure out here 4.175 centimetres and cut accordingly. Oh.
Hey baby, I'm your telephone and you just show me where you want it and I'll put
Yes, that's going to be a tougher job than I first thought. One dirty grey hole. I'm going to use this small length of TV aerial cable to connect this setup to the back of my mobile phone. Think of the biscuit tin lid like the roof of your car and this short piece of wire as the aerial. So I'm going to stick the aerial into our blue tack and then attach the outside copper wiring to the biscuit tin lid with some sticky tape. And there we have our aerial and ground plane. The other thing you can try is just unrolling a big sheet of aluminium foil and holding your mobile phone next to it. Now, all of these things should work in theory, but now it's time to put them all to the practical test. Now, don't ask me how I know this, but the only place in this house with poor reception is down here. At the moment, we've got 3 bars. First of all, I'm going to try common or garden kitchen tin foil. Hopefully with all this around me, we ought to get some kind of result. And actually, do you know, it's working rather well. I can't move it anywhere that I can't get 4 bars. Well, that's fantastic news, but unfortunately it means that you have to carry 5 meters of tin foil around with you everywhere. So, next up, I'm going to try our trusty ground plane aerial. First, we need to put the ground plane in an elevated position. Now, you put the middle bit of the coaxial cable into the aerial hole, and then the ground plane is twisted around this bit of wire. Now, like the other phone, this one never gets a full signal down here, so if it does, we'll consider this a success. And I don't believe it, it's actually working. That's phenomenal. Great stuff. Oh, I didn't expect that in the least. Cracking effort. So, Craig, to answer your first question, are those patches that you can buy to improve reception any good? Well, we've got one, so let's stick it in the phone. How that's going to work, I've no idea. Fingers crossed, Craig. Oh dear. Slightly disappointing. 3 bars, exactly the same as we had before. So, Craig, in this instance, the stick-on patch hasn't worked. But if you want a low-tech solution, then biscuit tin lids, tin foil and coat hangers seems to do the job just fine.